This man has been in a lot of great television shows and films, and even better for him and us as fans, he is great in everything that he does. Parenthood, Kingdom, Justified, City on a Hill, The Virgin Suicides, just to name a few. And now in theaters near you, part of a great cast in a movie written and directed by the hilarious and awesome Elizabeth Banks. It is called Charlie's Angels. It's starring, in part, Jonathan Tucker. Good to see you, sir.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm great. I mean, and we should add that Elizabeth Banks, Massachusetts girl.
Yes.
Born and raised.
So you
Patriots fan.
Yes, you shared your love
Yeah.
of the same New England sports.
Of course, watching those games on our DirecTV app, overseas, having to figure out how to, get the right Wi-Fi so that it would allow us to not be blacked out.
So because you shot a lot of this stuff in Germany, correct?
In Germany, right? Germany and Turkey.
Germany and Turkey. So you're there checking on last year's exploits of the Patriots.
That is correct.
Okay. Which I guess screen were you able to watch it on? Like on a phone?
A little phone. And it's just great being in like the oldest film studio in the entire world, just outside of Berlin, Studio Babelsberg.
Right.
And these historical German studios, watching the greatest football franchise in NFL history, with another fan. And that's an exciting thing to be a part of.
So when you talk about greatest football franchise in NFL history,
I think you know what I'm talking about.
Why are you pointing at Brockman over there?
I'm with you, buddy.
I see some action.
Don't encourage
He's
that.
going to play till he's 47 years old. It's unbelievable.
47. Why limit? 57?
It's
67?
incredible.
And we all know in the next, it has to happen the Saturday after Thanksgiving, the phone call from the 508 or 617 area code to the 305 area code telling Gronk, we need you. Send up the bat single.
He looked very skinny in that recent post that I saw. He looks like he's having a good time.
He does, but it doesn't look like he's let himself go, though.
No, certainly not.
You know what I mean?
No,
It does seem like if Kraft or Brady, because I don't think it'll be Belichick, it'll be somebody on his proxy, sends up the bat signal from, what would the signal be? Would it be a keg? Would it be a keg? We flash
it's
the
a
keg in the
CBD
sky?
now. He's got his big CBD business.
Yeah.
Let's flash a CBD cartridge in the sky.
Yeah, exactly.
And get Gronk back. Hopefully he can pee in a cup and we're all good. Although that CBD stuff is, we're supposed to be good.
Sure.
Yeah,
thumbs up.
THC free. Yeah, we're good.
Boom.
Yeah, we're good.
And all of a sudden there he is taking on, like, guess what? Like the Houston Texans all of a sudden out of the blue.
It's going to be a lot of fun. I'll tell you, the Banks, I mean, she's the real deal, man. I mean, she's not just really, really talented as a real director and actress, but she's she is a fun person to be around, man. She is down to earth as they come.
Right. And
really.
now she's crushing it with this new movie. It's so cool. I mean, I grew up on Charlie's Angels.
Yeah.
I mean, I will admit, I'm going to just come out here and admit it because I share things on this show. Sometimes I overshare. But on my bicycle that I had as a kid, I had a Jacqueline Smith sticker on my bike.
I think that's a great thing to share.
I did. That was she was my angel.
Well, this is this is a whole new deal. I mean, it's a real update from the previous movies and the TV show, and it kind of gives another generation their Charlie's Angels.
Right.
I am not saying this to like push a movie. I'm telling you straight up, it is a lot of fun. I mean, you will have a good time at this movie.
And you're kicking some ass and taking some names
it's a movie where these women are pushing a message of self-empowerment, and my character's job is to stymie that, is to stop that, to put an end to that. I do not win. I do not win that battle. Thankfully, I do not win that battle.
Spoiler alert, but that's fine.
That's
we just
right.
assume that's the case.
That's right.
Yeah, I mean, because I just think it's awesome, and obviously Elizabeth Banks is hilarious, and the fact
Patrick
that
Stewart's in it. He plays this over-the-top bad guy. He's hysterical. Right. I got to go on a walking tour of Istanbul, Turkey with Patrick Stewart.
What is that like, sir?
It's everything you can possibly imagine and more. It is just an absolute privilege to be strolling through the historic city of Istanbul, Turkey with Sir Patrick Stewart and his amazingly talented singer wife, Sunny. I mean, it was just great.
That's fantastic. Now, were you on the set at the same time as Strahan? Or
no, I think he came in and did a cameo. There was all these really great cameos in the movie that they put together.
Patrick, Ronda
Rousey's in it,
But the problem is the Patriots were too busy
winning
a Super Bowl for them to be in this film.
It is actually true.
You know, that I'm sure they wanted Edelman. They wanted Edelman.
It would have been great to get that beard in there.
Edelman sounds like he would be a perfect guy for a Charlie's Angels movie.
He would actually be a great villain a great character in the next franchise,
right.
in the sequel.
Jonathan Tucker here on the Rich Eisen Show, and again, you're one of my favorite guests, despite the fact that I do believe the first or maybe second time you appeared on this show, you took a Yankee hat and mocked.
A shirt.
Was it a shirt?
Yeah,
it's
in
a
your
shirt
dressing room.
In the dressing room, and mocked flushing it down the green room toilet.
Yeah, well.
Or did you mock it, or did
that's
you?
what I was going to say. It cut right before you would
Yeah,
find out
it
or
just
not.
cut right out.
Right. Yeah, it's a terrible team. We've talked about it every time I come on here. And TJ, your friend here on the show, asked me backstage. He said, "Would you rather the Patriots get to the Super Bowl and win?" And I was like, "Of course, that's the answer." Or I was like, "Nope, the first one." Or the Patriots get to the Super Bowl and lose, but the Yankees don't win a World Series championship for the next decade. And I was like, oh, boy, you really knew how to get me. Of course, the latter, because nothing is better than being from Boston, and nothing is better than subscribing to a famous Boston cheer, which is Yankees suck. So even when you win another game in another sport, the fans are still standing up cheering Bob Lobel, and Yankees suck.
Well, you know what, Jonathan? I find that particularly galling.
Yeah.
And sad.
We're a classy town.
No. I find it sad, but I also find it typical.
Sure.
Because
basic.
No. Here's what's typical: is that a sports fan normally, just deep down, just the basic concept of being a sports fan surrounds love. Love for team, love for city. Just, I love this team.
You need a good, evil umpire.
Excuse me.
Sorry, it's your show.
No, it's not that. It's my show.
It is true. It is true.
No. Right now, it's our show. Right now, it's our show. Even though we do sometimes need to remind people what the show is called here on the Rich Eisen. He's not even paying attention over there. Don't worry, Mike. It's okay. The drop about what the name of the show is, Mike. You have that.
This is the Rich Eisen Show.
Oh my gosh.
Nailed it.
But love of team, love of city, love of player. Grew up loving that guy. Grew up loving that gal. Love. And yet, for Boston sports fans in particular,
we even hate our own team.
You're not happy. You're not happy unless you're unhappy about something.
But I will say, and we've talked about this guy before, Gary Vaynerchuk talks about how he's like, when the Jets do end up winning, he's like, I don't know where I'll be. And I do feel that way a little bit about, I mean, I really love the Patriots continuing to win the Super Bowl. But the Sox, I mean, that first series, that first time when we got, what was it, 2004?
Right.
I mean, that was just, it was elation like I have never felt for a sports franchise before.
No, and I understand that winning
and then I was
while beating your rival in the process and destroying them and leaving them in a heap of ashes.
Yes.
I totally understand
why
that.
Came back, remember?
No, I understand why that would add to the excitement, and I understand the concept of spite. But when given the choice, can I be elated to the utmost of elation that my team, despite already having 6 in the case, can win a 7th? That because sports is about greed, it is, to use the phrase of one Gordon Gekko, good, and to use the phrase again, how many yachts can you water ski behind? Like from Wall Street, the answer is more. I get it. But for you to say no to that ultimate elation, I would rather get disappointed at the end of a journey that I look over the steering wheel and hope to end with happiness. I would rather be disappointed if it means my hated team from New York is just as disappointed. And to me, that's sad. It's sad, Jonathan Tucker.
In every part of my life, Rich, it's about not looking in the rearview mirror. It's about not concerning myself with what the competition is. It's about creating my own happiness and finding a sense of self-satisfaction in whatever I'm doing.
Okay.
In the world of Boston sports, that is not the case for me. And I will cut my team down as long as I can in the process of knowing that the New York Yankees are being harmed. I'll harm myself.
Where did this come from? Where did it start?
02129, the People's Republic of Charlestown, nurse cradled and reared in a city that has 62 colleges and universities.
Okay.
That is the beacon of America, the Athens of the world. the cradle of the revolution, the reason why this whole country was founded. On the 18th of April in 75, hardly a man is now alive to remember that famous day and year, the Midnight Ride of Paul Revere. This is a town that built this country and has put a light out of democracy to the rest of the world. And as long as the Yankees lose, we're going to be happy.
Well, you're standing. You're standing.
Thank you.
I don't think I've ever heard a better speech.
You left out the duck boats.
That's true. Quack, quack.
They're in storage right now.
Yeah, don't worry, they're going to be out in February.
You hope.
You ready for Mookie Betts to get traded, though?
Yeah. How was that?
Good job, Rich.
Yep.
Boy, see, I've got a bona fide grade A actor thespian right here where you cannot get thrown off your game. You just gave me that stare right down the pipe right there. Because you know Mookie Betts is going, right? He's out the door.
We got plenty of tools in our tool box.
There's no flustering this man.
Well, I didn't bang. He knew no bang
no
meant
bang.
that it was a
Yeah,
fastball.
yeah,
No
no
bang,
bang.
fastball. He didn't hear the two
Well,
bangs.
that's the Astro system that Alex Core was part of. Yeah. All right, I don't want to keep throwing you off your game. Man, you are, like I said, awesome in everything that you do. I know you're here to promote the movie Charlie's Angels as well, but City on a Hill, you are incredible in that,
Thanks.
brother.
I appreciate you saying that.
You are incredible in that. I loved you in Justified as well. Good God.
It's really fun to go into different worlds. I mean, that's like the most exciting thing. And you and I have talked about, how lucky I've been to do that. It's incredibly rewarding to go from a place like Boston set, for instance, the City on a Hill in the 90s, to then be in, I think Justified was set in, not Arkansas. But,
no, it was in Kentucky,
in Kentucky,
right?
that's right.
Right.
In Kentucky, in that very kind of contained southern world.
Westworld, which is not even of this world.
Yeah, but that was like a Civil War. I mean, I got for my character,
Correct.
that was like an old Civil War
Right.
Southern general, Major Craddock of the New Southern Cross.
Right.
And or like Kingdom, coming into like the world of MMA. I mean, getting to just kind of go into these very authentic worlds and experiences, and then and make an attempt to kind of reflect some of those people and those characters. It's incredibly rewarding, and it feels in some ways very blue collar, like very. It feels like you're getting to go do a job, and it's really important that you do it well. You know, if you have a welder who doesn't do a good job, there's going to be problems.
Of course.
And I feel that way as an actor when you have the responsibility of the world or those characters as a part of your due diligence.
And now you're in a reboot of one of the most famous pop culture, I guess, titles of our generation, in Charlie's Angels, with Elizabeth Banks directing it, and she wrote it too, and she's just really kick-ass.
She really is.
And so again, that's in theaters near you starting today. Before I let you go, man, you just said you just got off your 51st plane flight, right? Because you're just
American Airlines, we got a good thing.
Okay.
We got a real good thing. We certainly do. And I'm just hoping for that concierge key, that status level that is by invitation only. And if they hear me on the Rich Eisen show, the famous Rich Eisen show, you never know.
That's right.
You
never know. You might get the key to
whatever means.
kingdom
Yeah,
that is.
exactly
We
right.
don't know. And you look well rested and terrific, certainly for also having a set of 6-month-old twins at home as well.
That's right. Yeah, and my sister's being kind enough to help feed them as we speak.
Okay.
Yeah, 2 kids at the same time is not like 2 kids. They shouldn't call it twin. People are like, oh, well, we have 2 kids. I'm like, yes, but not at the same time. It's very different, okay? It's very different. Holding 2 bottles, doing the burp every 2 ounces, and
then one's hungry, one's not. One's sleeping, one's not.
Yeah,
Good.
It's very rewarding.
God bless it.
What's amazing is just that, and I think you were saying this with your daughters. Like you can have all this screaming and yelling, and then all of a sudden they give you one look.
Oh, it's over.
And you're like, ugh.
That's a wrap. He's about to have his first child over there. Well, or actually, Sarah's about to have your first
I'm
child.
along for the ride.
Right.
Yeah.
You're together having your own
Correct.
first child, but you're just along for the ride. Do you have any parental advice for him, a fellow masshole that's sitting right over there?
Save every dollar. It ain't cheap. It's a capital intensive proposition.
Well put.
Yeah.
CIP? It's a CIP.
It's a CIP.
It's a CIP. It's a
CIP
YP.
or RIP.
It's a YP and a CIP.
Yeah, I think it makes you a better. I mean, I've said a lot of things in my life, like about the kind of person that I want to be.
Yes.
And how I want to experience the world. And then you have these kids, and all of a sudden, it's like you better really live it, and you do end up living it.
Oh yeah, man. Because they'll smell it out. Your kids are 6 months old now. When they get to be 6, 8, 11, as my kids are right now, they sense everything. They pick everything up. They hear everything. They sense everything. And, and I'll say this because they're in school right now. They ruin everything. I mean, just absolutely. They ruin your sleep, your social life. I mean, no. Is this on? Did I say the quiet part out loud?
No.
Again?
You're good.
You're good. No, but I cry at commercials now.
But you also don't want to
things
embarrass
affect me.
them, Rich. I mean, like, could you imagine you got to explain to your kid that you weren't taking a swing because you knew it was a changeup because you had a system that was established to cheat? Like, what a horrible thing to have to explain to your kids.
Oh, I can't wait
even
to
imagine
explain that to my kid.
What? The cheating? The Astros cheating
awful.
scandal of 2017? You can't wait to explain that to your kid?
Well, because I mean, I don't know, but it's like, if there's a little air left out of a ball, we can have it now. We've realized now perfectly that, like, essentially every quarterback has a little something, and he now has a ball that is up to every regulation you can imagine, and he's still winning over and over and over again. So he can tell his kid, I never cheated. I can show you exactly what I did with the ball that was checked by 50 different people at every moment of the game.
That's odd that you would take a Patriots so-called scandal and just sweep it under the rug with your children.
It's not sweeping it under the rug. It's explaining that there's... It's science.
Guys, science is indisputable.
No, Tom Brady in our household, because of Susie, my wife, is from
Your
New
beautiful,
England. My beautiful,
wonderful
lovely
wife.
Yes, I mean...
A woman of integrity and character.
Exactly. And also he's a Michigan Wolverine. It's a done deal that Tom Brady has nothing but the highest of reverence in our household. That said, when the Red Sox onesies started coming to the house from her side of the family, from across the country, that's the red line. That's the actually pinstripe line that would not be crossed in our household.
Yes.
That could not be crossed.
We got one of each sent from a friend of ours.
So,
she sent up a Yankees onesie and a Red Sox onesie.
And so what happened to the Yankee onesie?
I have never seen the Yankees onesie since it arrived in our door. But I did take a nice photo and send it to her and say, thank you so much.
But you did put your child in it?
No. That literally is never. I'm not kidding. It's literally. There's not a chance that would ever happen.
That did get flushed down the toilet.
It would never happen, ever in a million years.
At Jonathan M. Tucker on both Twitter and Instagram. Follow this man. Great to have you here, man.
And go see the movie this week. I'm telling you, it is a fun movie. You will have a good time.
A blast. Charlie's Angels in theaters near you, starring Kristen Stewart, Naomi Scott, Ellen Balinska,
Ella Balinska is fantastic.
Ella Balinska is terrific, and Elizabeth Banks as well. You, Patrick Stewart, and so many more. Thanks for coming on the show, sir.
It is thrilled to be here.
Anytime. That's Jonathan Tucker here on The Rich Eisen Show.
For more of The Rich Eisen Show, tune to Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV for free on BR Live or download the Rich Eisen Show app.